Welcome to the Monsters Lair show, everyone. Happy New Year for 2017, and in this episode, we'll be reviewing Final Fantasy 15. Oh, yeah. Final Fantasy 15, guys. Can you believe it? After 10 long years, Square Enix finally did it. And boy, did it show. It took 10 long years. Man, this game just drove me mad, ladies and gentlemen. I've never hated and loved a game as much as the whole experience I had with Final Fantasy 15. We'll go through the good, the bad, and the summary later on in the show. But yeah, that's kind of my starting point, that this game drove me mad. So what is the game about? Well, you play Noctis, who's the prince of a kingdom called Lucius in the land of Eos. And in this particular realm, there's an evil empire called Nilfheim, and they pretty much control all the other kingdoms except Lucius. Now, in the events of Kingsglaive, which is an anime that I do recommend you watch before playing this game, it does kind of flesh out the whole story. In those events, Nilfheim actually betray Lucius during the signing of a peace treaty, and they take over Lucius as well. And Prince Noctis, he goes on a massive epic quest to gain power and reclaim his throne. So that's pretty much the premise and narrative. So we're going to go on to the good, then the bad, then my summary. Oh yeah. Yeah, alright guys, the strong points of this game. Firstly, for me, being new to Final Fantasies, the actual world itself is awesome. It's such a unique take on fantasy. You've got epic gods running around, you've got demons roaming at night, you've got crazy, fantastical creatures all scattered across the landscape that you have to fight, mixed in with convertible cars, gas stations and diners and supermarkets. It's just a unique take on fantasy. I think it was the only game where I defeated a titan and went into a diner and had a cheeseburger by lunch. So excellent work. I really loved it. The next sort of takeaway from this game is that Noctis shares this whole quest with three of his best friends, and Square Enix really hit the nail on the head in regards to this sort of boy band road trip feel of things. You really, you get emotionally attached to these three characters, that are both your brothers, they're both your best mates and your bodyguards at the same time. You go through the ups and downs of the quest, they crack funny jokes, they talk amongst themselves, they care about you, and Square Enix really achieved what it set out to do, and that was that I didn't want any of them to get harmed, and I was really emotionally attached to all three of them. So that's another takeaway that I'm going to sort of have as a warm memory from this game. The next really strong point for me was the actual main quest itself was awesome. It was a simple premise. I understood what was happening most of the time. I don't know about you guys, but with JRPGs, I kind of get lost sometimes with what's going on. But not with Final Fantasy. I knew what we were doing and why we were doing it, which is excellent. The main quest ending as well was awesome. It was not only epic, but it left me totally satisfied. A lot of times developers try to be, mysterious in their endings and they leave it up to you to fill in the gaps. But no, with Final Fantasy, I put the controller down with a big smile on my face and a teardrop rolling down my cheek. I was absolutely satisfied. And another massive tick to Square Enix. I actually believe, guys, that if this game was a one-player action adventure like Uncharted or Last of Us, it would have been maybe Game of the Year. The bad. Oh, what could have been, ladies and gentlemen. Where do I start? Right, the combat, guys. The combat, for me anyway, was frustrating. I mean, I managed to still finish the game, but I never felt like I mastered the combat. The camera angles left me disorientated and you know, didn't really allow me to see exactly what was coming at me. There was a lock-on key, but you know, most of the times you're fighting hordes of creatures, and the lock-on key had sort of very minimal impact in my experience. I relied a lot on health potions, so much so that Noctis's teeth were stained red. So yeah, guys, the combat just left me frustrated. Maybe that was me. I don't know. You know, leave me your thoughts and comments if you like. Another really weak point of this game is the side quests, guys. The side quests felt like, you know, my 2-year-old cousin kind of wrote them up and just forced them into this game. You know, you've got these nobodies telling Prince Noctis to go take a picture of a mountain or pick 5 frogs or find 5 herbs. Like, come on, man, give me a break. The guy is a prince. Your realm just got usurped. What the hell is going on with these side quests? They were really bad, guys, and I was totally unmotivated to do these side quests. And I'm a side quest guy, for God's sake. The third sin of this game, if you like, is the travel. This game forces you to watch the boys, you know, in their convertible, driving from point A to point B on a freeway. Which was good the first couple of times. I got bored of it the rest of the times. Now, if they had good music on the radio, I would have forgiven them. But they had the most crappiest music as well, so it was just like torture. So the travel was really bad. Technically speaking, the graphics was solid. But again, I had some lighting issues on my PS4. I don't know, sometimes it was abnormally dark, and then it would be light. Sometimes I'd look up and you know, the sun's kind of out, yet it was really dark. And it did crash 3 times for me as well, just to sum it all up. So as a summary, guys, again, I have this really deep belief that if it was like a first-person action like Deus Ex or Uncharted or Last of Us with deep RPG mechanics, and you left the open world out, this game would have been the bomb. But the attempt at the open world and the whole traveling thing and side quests really dragged this game down, in my opinion. So yeah, guys, the best I can give this game is 3.5 out of 5 human skulls. Oh yeah! So guys, thanks for watching the Monsters Lair show. Peace out, and I'll see you next time. Oh yeah!
It's freezing. You'll catch cold if you don't wear your jacket.